Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode. I have a new guest with me this time, Andrew Botolino, longtime friend, good companion. Haven't seen him in a while, but now he is finally here, so I want to welcome you, Andrew. Welcome to the podcast. How do you feel?
I'm here. It's a pleasure to be on, Costa.
With famous names like Amir Bin and Marcello Capuccio, which you don't know, but it's okay. But we have famous names already.
Well, you got an Italian name, and Amir is my hero, and I look up to Amir. Like I
Don't
look
we
up
all?
to Muhammad.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Only if we could all just, take a whole month off and just not do anything and just sleep the whole day. I think we would all love to do that.
And he's got it down. I like the hibernation thing.
No, it is. It's a good way to relax and get away from people, so I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Now with the burning question,
Okay.
I always start with, what do you think about this universe? What is your stance in this universe? What does it all mean to you?
What does the universe mean? I don't think there's a more grand question, more vast question than that. I don't know. Okay, so what specifically? Let's dial it in specifically, and then I'll try to expand on it.
Okay, God, yes, no.
Do I believe in God?
Yes. What are your thoughts on God? Let's just put it this way.
In the monotheistic sense, no. I don't believe that there's this omnipotent, benevolent God. I don't believe in that. But I wouldn't call myself an atheist. I would say I'm a spiritual person, and I believe that there's energy, within every single person, and I think that if you want to call that God and say God lies within each of us, then I think that's a fair assessment, and I wouldn't argue with that. So God is this one all-powerful being? No, but a God-like energy within the universe? Yes.
Interesting. No, I ask this because I know me and you are always on the same lines when it comes to viewing this world and
Sure.
viewing life, and we understand each other pretty well, and we talk about this stuff a lot. But back to what you were saying on the whole energy aspect, you don't believe that God is this whole universe per se? It's like an energy.
I think it's I don't know. I mean, then I don't know.
No, I mean, obviously nobody knows.
Any of these questions, but this might sound a little funny, but I think God lives in the trees just as he lives in every one of us. I know it's like a hippie kind of, thing to say, but I do believe that, nature has a spirit and quite transcendental in that manner, and I believe that, there's soul in every living thing. So I mean, yeah, I do think that the original question was like, is God in the universe? God's relationship? Yeah, I mean, I think that if you want to label that energy and that spirit as God, I mean, I'm not going to, sit here and tell you that's wrong, I think that you can call it God and say God lives in all those things and everything, every living thing. Yeah, that's what I think.
Interesting. Very interesting. But, so, what you said about the whole energy and then the souls being in every living thing, I would say, on this planet, whether it be a piece of grass or a tree or anything.
Right.
Would you say that reincarnation is possible, exists, unlikely? Where do you stand on reincarnation?
Man, I don't know. I just don't know enough about it. I don't, I would say that at this point in time, my current state, I don't think that reincarnation is a logical thing that would happen, logical phenomenon, but I mean, my mind has changed. Can I swear?
Yes, yeah. Me and Amir swear a lot. Yeah, you can swear.
All right. My mind has changed on a lot of things, and I'm always open to be changed. So, I don't, I mean, we'll see. The more I hope to talk to people who do believe in reincarnation, because obviously, growing up near Boston, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, New England in general, you're not going to run into many people who are Hindus or believe in reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope that, in my life, in the next few years, I do run into people who can totally challenge the way I look at things, for sure. So we'll see.
It's just like, I've said this before in earlier podcasts I've done with like Amir, I think, and it's hard to really pinpoint what is true, obviously, because you can't prove anything.
Sure.
Nothing. To be honest, you can't prove anything in this world, whether it be life lessons, God, money. It doesn't matter. Nothing is 100% certain. Nothing's 100% true.
Right.
Like I always tell Amir,
Well,
everything's just a fucking theory.
That's right.
Everything is just a theory.
Right.
Like fact or not fact, it is fact. But if you really dive deep into it, it's a theory.
Right.
It could be a theory because it's always, things like that are just always up into interpretation by the individual. And for me, honestly, I don't like how, like, religion, okay, I'm okay with religion and everything. And people can choose who they want to be in their world. But the way that God is portrayed by churches is just, I think it's not right. Because I understand there's a principle, morals of just how to live life peacefully.
Sure.
But that also sets kind of boundaries sometimes on what you can or cannot do.
So what is the portrayal of God that you disagree with in the church? What example are you thinking of?
Primarily, it being God is stronger than you. That he has to be stronger than you.
And he is to be feared.
He is to be feared.
Sure.
Has to be stronger. And he has to be more smarter because, therefore, he created everything in this universe.
Right.
But, you just get that paradox where can God create a rock that even he can't lift? Or an object that even he can't lift? So you get into that paradox and you're like, then what's the fucking point? In even being a god or there in existing being a higher being. But the more I think about it, there is a higher being, but not necessarily a being that me and you think of. So like a humanoid being or an alien. I agree with you when it comes to the whole energy thing. I think maybe this universe was created because it wanted to create itself. I don't know. But, if you stem back to the Big Bang Theory, there's so many fucking theories about how it started, why it started, whether if the universe expands to a point where it just collapses in on itself and it opens back up again, it just keeps on doing that, whether if we're living in like the 8th universe of our time, like there's so many different theories when it comes to that where obviously we don't have enough time to be alive to understand it. Granted, everyone lives, 80, 90 years, 100 if we're lucky,
Sure.
knock on wood.
Sure.
Doesn't give you a long time to really assess this whole universe, rather just to live our life, Hence why I spend so much time thinking about not of this earth, more about the truths of the universe. Why are we alive? Why are we so small? Why was the universe created? Like, I know to some people, those things don't matter. They focus on regular life. But to me, sometimes regular life is just so boring that I have to look further up,
Sure. So what's the point then? What's the purpose? Why are we here?
Shit if I know. Shit if I know.
Okay.
In my opinion, though, maybe at the end of the day, we kind of all just serve a balance of life, circle of life type deal, where you're born and you die, and there's nothing you could do about it, but it's just the way you understand your life and why you're living it makes that purpose, it makes that whole reason for wanting to live. It's a really deep question when you start questioning your own morality, your own beliefs, and what is right and what is wrong. Every person sees their life differently according to how they live it, hence, like I've once talked about with Amir, it's just like a serial killer thinks he's living the right life. Necessarily, a regular person like me and you could be living our regular life. And we think the serial killer is obviously bad, of course. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but who's to say that either one of our lives is right or wrong?
Yeah.
But that's where the whole human morality and human brain comes into question, because then we start questioning what is right, what is wrong.
Right.
You know, like drinking constantly, smoking constantly, doing drugs, like that's all right to some people, but not all right for others. You know, there's two sides to every coin. You know, every situation. So it's for there to be one general purpose for why we are brought here, why are we alive, for everybody, it doesn't exist. Everyone has their own. That's what, at least what I think of it as.
Interesting. Okay. I like that. Yeah, I mean, you get into like to relative ethics and things like that. You know, when you ask, like what do you think of? Because we live in this community, right? We live in our kind of bubble, you know, here, and there are communities all over the world who have a different moral code and believe different things, hold different, you know, ethical weights. So what's your thought? If you were gonna say like your commandments for life, what is your morality, your moral compass? What does that point to? What are the things that guide you?
Well, I'm not sure if there's specifically 10, but...
Well, you don't have to do 10, just...
Oh, I know.
Just yeah.
For me, I've always lived life like this.
Mm-hmm.
I care too much about everyone and everything that's going around me.
Sure.
And that's why I constantly stress about and have anxiety about fucking every little fucking detail around me. Because, to be honest, I've never really cared too much about myself. I want the world around me to be happy. Whether it's my friends, family, girlfriend, whatever. To me, I just want to see other people around me happy.
Are you having trouble pleasing your girlfriend?
I wish. If I had one. No, I'm just kidding. But the thing is, that's when you just get into that whole thing is treat people the way you want to be treated. But I treat people the way I want to be treated, but I don't get treated like that anyway. So what the fuck? You know? But that's never stopped me. Like, you obviously know my past. You obviously know my shit. Like, I haven't had a fun past. I think nobody's had a fun past, but like, I constantly ask myself, like, why the fuck do I keep opening up my heart and helping people in general around me when I don't get that same thing back to me?
You're an unrequited lover.
That's just because I fucking care. I just fucking care about people around me. I can't change it, whether you're bad or good.
Sure.
A human always deserves a life at the end of the day, and they deserve second chances. I don't care who you are. Yeah, you fucked up, and I know you fucked up, and a lot of people wouldn't give you second chances in life. Hell, I probably would give you a second chance in life, but it might take a while. But like, I'm a very forgiving person, and I blame myself for that sometimes. I do, because sometimes it's better for your heart when you stop fucking caring, when you stop giving a shit about what people say. But I mean, then again, I never cared what people say. I just care about not getting treated the same as other people, or the way I give out my love. I don't get enough of that back, you know?
Sure.
Like I've said before to a lot of people, it's tough when you give out 100% in everything you do and you only get 50 or 40% back.
Why do you think that is?
But I think that is because other people don't understand or don't step into each other's shoes. Like, I try and understand everyone's situation. I always constantly try and step into other people's shoes and look at how they're living their life. What is going on? Why do they think like this? Why do they do the things they do? You know?
Sure.
I think that's a big reason into knowing how another person is. Why they act the way they do. It's because of, it's like nature versus nurture.
Sure.
You know? It's because of the nature they grew up in. Or how they were taught as younger kids, or anything.
Sure.
Which, like, teaches them their own morality. And I don't know, maybe I'm just that one lucky son of a bitch that's never going to get 100% back, because I just have to expect that the world's fucked, and it's going to be fucked. The world, it's always been fucked, let's just put it that way. Yeah, you get people that obviously do give back 100%, and those are my friends that I know of, and people I still talk to, or whatever, but like...
What does that look like to you, giving back 100%?
To me, personally?
Sure.
Like someone giving me back 100%.
Yep.
I don't know, like, I would say being there for me, caring about, like, the situations, understanding why I see the world the way I do, caring about others too, not just themselves. I'm beginning to realize that I'm not sure, like, my dad has always told me, he's like, this is just how people are in America because they just love money too much. He always makes that argument to me. He's like, people are always going to be selfish.
Right.
But I don't want to believe that. But at the same time, I fucking see what's going on around me. So many people are goddamn so selfish about themselves. Like,
Right.
the other day, I was, I think, in Stop and Shop, and, like, nobody fucking, like, it's generous and it's nice when you hold open the door for someone.
Right.
Whether it be a woman or a guy, it doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
You know, it's courteous. And, you know, the son of a bitch was literally 2 feet in front of me, and the door slammed right in front of me. I was like, alright, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Like, simple shit like that just piss me off. Like, I look at this world around me, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know, like, really, like, seriously, like, what has happened to people? Like, I'm not sure if it's because of social media or the time and age we live in, but, like, people honestly stop giving a fuck.
Well,
People are just so selfish nowadays. For what? For what? Tell me.
why are people so selfish?
Like, people have their own reasons for being selfish. I understand that. I've talked to people that said that they're selfish.
Sure.
Like, I understand that. But you gotta care about, like, everyone on this world deserves the life they're living. If they're alive, they deserve it, no matter how bad they are. People to a point should care about one another. You know, we're not gonna progress better in the future
Right.
until we start caring about people around us.
Right.
No matter of race, gender, fucking anything, you know? Like, that's a huge topic for another day, but, like, we gotta start caring. We really do. Not, like, for me also, I love nature. I love taking care of nature around me. I love, like, environmentalism. Like, that shit is amazing. But you can't just care about one thing. You gotta care about everything on this planet. Because without that, this planet's not gonna last.
Right.
And I can tell you right now, there's not a lot of people that, you know, care about these things like me and you, Andrew. And that's, to me, it's sad. To me, it's sad. Everyone, I get it. Everyone's trying to secure a normal life for themselves. A house, kids, money, family, cars, food, water, shelter. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But if we don't help each other out in that process, some people are not going to have those simple luxuries. Is, at the end of the day, is what I'm trying to say. You know? That's my spiel on it.
Yeah.
And that's only one. That's only one thing, like, of my, what you said, like, the 10 Commandments I believe in. That's just one.
Compassion and empathy for the world around you and the people around you.
Yeah. To me, that's big.
Yeah.
That's real big.
I think that's paramount. I think it's totally, it's very important. But, I don't know. I think that, as far as, like, you know, I mean, there are levels to it, right? Like, there's, you know, grocery store stories, and then there's big corporations that own the grocery store, you know? So you have the interactions at the personal level, and then you have the interactions all the way up to this mega corporate level. And I think that, and I've subscribed to the belief that if you can change, you know, if you can change what's at that highest level, then you can change the interactions at the lowest level. And so you have people that, I don't know, with your story, like, you know, somebody is happier because they have the material wealth to be happy, because they haven't been screwed out of a life with the normal things, the house and the family and on and on and on. But then the question becomes, well, how do you change the shit at the top? And, you know, that's the real hard part, because the people at the top have no desire to change. And so, honestly, one of the only things you can do is, you know, go about your day living in accordance with those things that really do matter to you. That compassion, that empathy, you know, that love for human connection. I was at I'll tell you a grocery store story. I was, you know, checking out at Star Market the other day, and they asked, I guess their reward system is called Monopoly or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the lady goes to me as I'm checking out, and she goes, "Do you play Monopoly?" And I go, no, but I used to when I was younger. It was this like stupid little, joke.
Yeah.
And she lit up and she started smiling and she was like, oh, I have to ask that question to everybody. And so we just kind of had this like little chat, and it was really nice to see that one little tiny interaction like that can bring, a joy into somebody's life. And so at the extreme micro level, like doing those things and just exuding like a kind energy, I think is sometimes all that we can do and all that we really have control over.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the stuff that we really need to focus on. Like it's there are levels to it and there are scales to it, but I think that, doing something like that, I've come, like, as I've kind of, grown up and lived in the past few years, to understand that stuff really does matter. You can blow it off as like some stupid little interaction, but it does matter. It's the stuff that puts a smile on somebody's face, and then they put a smile on somebody. It's this stupid, like hippie, like yoki kind of.
No, but it's true. It goes on. It carries
absolutely
on, like, to the other person, obviously, yeah.
And so if you can do that, I believe, and if you can also have that kind of like crusading attitude that I'm going to be myself unapologetically, and for me, that means love for the environment, the nature around me. That means love for the people around me. Again, no matter of who they are, the people in my life. I think that's the stuff that's like, if you have that, you're kind of led on this path where you can start to actually make changes that affect that the people at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Because circling back to your question about greed, people like Milton Friedman in this kind of laissez-faire corporate capitalist attitude have kind of subscribed America to the belief that pursuit of one's own
interest,
self-centered goals,
mm-hmm.
that's the priority above all else. And we've kind of subscribed to this belief where I'm not on social media, but I'll watch like YouTube videos from time to time, and I'll see things pop up on 3 ways to make X amount of money in 3 months, like how to double your earnings, like how
mm-hmm.
to and it's all fine, and that's okay, but I think that if you are solely focused on accumulation of wealth or accumulation of things or accumulation of status, or on and on and on down the line with those kind of externalities, I think that, and of course I'm speaking personally because that's all I really know, but I think that breeds unhappiness, and it also is kind of like this hamster wheel of greed that keeps going,
never
and
enough,
going and going, and it isn't enough, and you get to the point where you look at some people, and we're here sitting at Dowses Beach right now, and so you get to look out on the beach, and oftentimes when you travel in Cape Cod and you go to places like Osterville or Hyannisport, you get to see, especially in the winter, in the spring, and the fall, empty shells of very, very large houses, and that they haven't been touched because their owners are at their second or third house at the point, and so you kind of get to see that, and it puts it in perspective. And I know that, of course, this is very simplistic, but what if that house is instead, the money that was used for that is used to eradicate homelessness across the country? Of course, again, very simplistic, but I oftentimes think of that, and you have to wonder, well, why hasn't it happened? And it hasn't, I think, happened because people, especially these people who own, a lot of multiple houses, things in excess, they have subscribed to that belief that, well, I've worked hard for this and it's mine because of it. Well, oftentimes you'll find out that these people haven't really worked, harder than the person who's working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, busting their ass at some blue-collar job, or trying to make a living in the world of the humanities. And they haven't worked harder for those people. They've just been more fortunate. They've gotten luckier, or in some cases, they've been greedier. Like, these things, it's not a straight line direct correlation between how hard you work and your monetary wealth, but we've been fed this kind of belief that is how it is. That is how you accumulate these things, and these people believe that with their whole hearts, and so they think to themselves, well, I've earned this second house, I've earned this third house, I've earned this yacht, I've earned this boat, on and on and on. When it's really there is no earning of those material things. That it's just, you just happen to have played the system correctly. You just happen to have the ball land in your court. Like, that's just what happens. And so again, you have this problem, where so many have so little and so few have so much. And because of this systemic belief in greed as a ideology, as a pathway to success, you have this incredible wealth imbalance, and the people at the top also subscribe to that belief and are being funded by the people who subscribe to that belief. So nothing happens, nothing gets changed. And of course, this all trickles down into the stories at the grocery store with people who are miserable, because a lot of the times it's very, very difficult to be happy and to be upbeat and joyous when you are struggling to pay rent, worrying that you're going to get evicted, especially during the pandemics. There's so much financial stress. Especially in this country, it's very, very difficult for people to really be that, kind of bubbly when they're going about their day-to-day life. And so I'm going to tie it all back into your commandment, per se, and just say that as people, and whoever listens to this, if they're this far in, they've tortured themselves listening to my
people
rants.
I swear people don't listen past the 10-minute mark, but fuck it, I don't care. I just like doing these.
Yeah, if you have if you've tortured yourself listening to my rant, I'm sorry and thank you. But tying it all back in, one thing we can do just tomorrow, rest of tonight, whenever you're listening to this, is just try to acknowledge your privilege and your fortune, your good fortune, no matter what you have. And at any level, just understand that there are people who are going through different things than you and who are living different lives than you. Even the people in the big houses, the big second houses, have their issues as well. And so all you have to do, like the one thing, if there's one thing to focus on, again, tying it all back in, it's empathy. And it's understanding that while all these people are going through all these different things and all these different struggles, we can all relate at this one critical, fundamental level, and that is our common humanity, our shared human experience. And so once we really accept that and live that out, I think there's a lot more joy in our lives, and of course I would extend that compassion to the natural world around us, and understand that we are so lucky to live on this beautiful planet, and it hurts me to think and to acknowledge the fact that it's not going to be around much longer if we don't change some things.
See, like me and you, like we think of like the generations after us. Like
Sure.
we want to take care of like this planet so the other generations have a chance to enjoy what we've enjoyed, not necessarily of us even being there. Because obviously we're not going to be there past 100 years from now. So you could argue the point, like, why the fuck should we care? But I care.
You're a very caring person, Costa.
Fuck that. I wish I wasn't. But the thing is...
No, that's not... No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Like I said before, it's just... It sucks when you have... I really hate saying this, but, like, having a soft heart where, like, shit just hurts you, like, instantly, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to work my way to a colder heart, and I've been trying to, but I can't. I just can't. I simply care too much.
You're just too hot.
Fuck, man. Fuck. But can you also make that argument that people that do have these nice houses that we're looking at right now,
sure,
that to them, they're just arguing that I only have one life. Why can't I just enjoy it?
Sure.
And what do you say to those people?
No, I say their feelings are completely valid. And, yeah, I mean, it's their right to own multiple houses if they have the financial means to do so. I mean, it's like, I don't really have, like, animosity towards these people, in the sense that, like, fuck them for owning another house. Like, I don't,
yeah.
That's not how I'm just kind of using it as an example to say, excess, things in excess do not, really feed, happiness. The bare minimum, sure, like you need a certain amount of material wealth and, things like that to live, and to meet that kind of baseline happiness. But after that, it gets to a point where it's really, really, it's not significant. It's not significant, the amount of money, so on,
No, of course. There's people that wake up in the morning and see the sun. They're like, God damn it, I'm happy because I have another day to live.
Absolutely. And that's how I hope, at this stage of my life, I'm hoping my life will be like, is that I make just enough to survive comfortably, and that I never am caught up in this kind of trap of excess, and that the sun rising in the morning and falling in the evening is touches me as much as it does, today. And that's just me, though. And I'm not going to knock somebody for their own life choices. I just think that when you have a system where somebody has so much,
mm-hmm.
and somebody else has so little to the point where they cannot appreciate the very simple things in life like that, and they have a hard time because as the sun's rising, it's another day that you might get kicked out of your fucking house.
Yeah.
That's where I start to feel, I feel total sympathy for those people, and I also feel like, okay, there's something wrong. Something needs to be fixed. That's where kind of my mind goes as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't blame the people per se. Like, I don't blame the personal homeowners. I blame the system at whole. I think that the system needs to be reformed. That's not a very radical stance, but
see, like, I could bring up an argument though that
right.
like you can start from the bottom, though. You don't have to change the system up top, but if you get enough people from the bottom, you could obviously change.
Right. Well, look at the BLM movement and the verdict that Derek Chauvin just had. I mean,
I saw that recently.
You could ask, well, if there weren't all these widespread protests, which were really inspiring, if there weren't all these things happening, would that social pressure be there on the jury to convict him? That's a question that I don't have an answer for, but I tend to think that, well, it made some impact, I think,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, and so the action of people just getting out in the street, like, then caused, you know, the correct verdict in this case, which is very, very rare in cases of white police officers and black, you know, civilians. It's really, really like, okay, like, all right, you know, like, it's not enough, but we just took a baby step in the right direction. You know, like, people getting out there and really protesting, like, yeah, like, that shit works. And so let's keep doing it, you know? And that means that we got to do that not only for the social issues, but for the environmental issues as well. And
Yeah,
for
of course,
the
for everything.
economical issues, for everything. Everything that
But-
we see injustice, call it out with compassion, but call it out, you know?
These reforms, though, they're obviously, these don't happen overnight, and a
Sure.
lot of people say this, like, even the BLM movements, environmental changes, all these things, and social reforms in general, these things don't happen overnight.
No.
And they're not even going to happen maybe for the next 100 years, sorry to say, but it takes some time. Like, obviously, look how far we've progressed since the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, and abandoning slavery. But, you know, we had some bumps in the road, like the separation between colored people and white people
That
back
was a
in...
big bump.
Yeah, that was a big bump. But obviously, it's still not gone, and everyone sees it that it's still not gone. And this is just another one of those bumps, and there's still going to be some, no matter what, even if it's Asian Pacific heritage, everything. America obviously wants to uphold their promise of freedom and liberty for all.
Sure.
But obviously, it didn't start from where it started.
Right. When the
you
road
know?
to justice is never paved smooth, it's, you know, but I don't know. What do you think? How do you think we get there?
With everything that's been going on recently, obviously violence is not the answer to violence.
Sure.
Obviously. And I mean, people will disagree on that, obviously, but it just goes back to the point where, like, revenge is never worth it, because you're hurting yourself more in the end when you're going out for revenge rather than not doing anything at all. But obviously we should do something. But you know, peaceful protests, peaceful social reforms,
Sure.
actually bringing these social policies up to the Supreme Court,
Right.
you know, making them, the higher ups, decide what is right. Because obviously they're not going to do them themselves.
Right.
And we can see that they're not going to do it themselves. We have to bring up these issues as a people to the higher ups to change.
Right.
You know, because if they don't understand what's going on with us,
Right.
they're going to not know what's going to do anyway
Right.
to maybe upset us even more. Because they don't know, obviously don't know what's beneficial, because they obviously don't see the everyday things that we everyday people see.
Right.
You know, that's why they're up there. So that's why I have this view where I think it has to start from the bottom up,
Sure.
you know?
Right. And I think that if compassion and empathy, if these people had a solid stakehold in those values, then they would have the, you know, the realization that I'm not the person who should be making decisions on this shit. I'm
Yeah.
going to defer my opinion to the actual minority groups who have had to undergo years and years and years of systemic oppression by the American system, the same system that, and I'm speaking from the politician now, the same system that I am directly in charge of and am currently creating, you know? So that's like that empathy and compassion for your fellow, you know, human being. And for me to sit here and tell you like what you should do to enact social reform is naive and ignorant, because I mean, you and I are two straight white guys, you know, grew up in
Cape Cod.
Massachusetts, you know, yeah, exactly. And our experience as far as like those that systemic injustice is limited to non-existent, you know, like that's, And so
Yeah.
for me, one of the things that I've learned over the years and really getting out there and talking to people with, from all different places and all different backgrounds and all different views of life, one thing that I've learned is kind of like that I should just kind of shut up and let those people handle it,
Yeah.
It's kind of this irony because you want to solve these problems, at least I do, and I want to like look at it and say, oh, like this is the solution, but I think that if people like myself honestly just kind of accepted that they're not the right people to solve these issues, I think the issues would have gotten solved a lot fucking quicker. Like that's one of those things that it's might be one of those paradoxes of life, right? Like,
But that's
the more you let go, like the more, these really fruitful things enter into your life and the world around you.
That's why, like I just said, it all comes down to what I think, and that was just my very first rule is just fucking, care about the people around you.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know when your last day is going to be. You don't know when the person sitting next to you's last day is going to be, or the last person you talk to on the phone. Like, you don't know that. You can't guess that, because life is life. The universe is the universe. It does what it wants whenever it wants,
Yeah.
So, just to know that someone loves you and cares for you at the end of the day, when you, like, go to bed, I think that's the nice thing, knowing that
Absolutely.
the last person you talk to cares about you, loves you, and like they tell you that, like that.
Costa.
Yeah, bro. I love you too. I love you too, man. And it's just that's what I say when you give 100% and people don't give 100% back to me. That's what bothers me, and it's always going to bother me. And like it just sucks when you have a fucking open soul like this, where you just kind of not being a whore, but like giving yourself out, to all these people, and it just doesn't work out, for friendships, fucking everything, But like you obviously know, I'm also that type of person where like I'll fucking shut you off from my life if I don't see any positive things coming from it. And
Don't shut me off, Costa.
No, I'm not going to. But like,
Told you I love you.
yeah, of course. But it's just, that's what I hate, because like I want to shut those people off from my life because I know they're not giving me anything back to me. But at the same time, I feel like I feel a dick about it, But that's just my personalities. INFJs, bro. We just fucking if you fuck with us too much, we're just gonna leave you alone and just leave me alone. Just go live your life. But then at the end of the day, I sit in my bed and I'm like, maybe I should have done things differently. That's why I always blame myself for like past relationships with friends and girlfriends. No matter who was right or wrong, I'm going to blame myself to a point, knowing that things could have been different if I did things different.
Right. Well, that's good and bad.
No, obviously.
You're bargaining and you're trying to like to think, what could I have done differently, and what did I do wrong? And
Andrew, I know I live in the past. I know I live into the past, but like I don't live in it. I try and pick and learn things from it.
What have you learned? What's one thing that you've learned? One example that you think of when you say that?
One example I think of is obviously not giving your heart out to fucking people. But I still do that, so I didn't even fucking learn. That's a huge one that sticks out to me.
Do you think that it's more of the action of you giving your heart out to people, or the people that you give your heart out to?
It's hard to say, because I don't judge a book by its cover. I don't judge on whether this person deserves my love, my friendship, my, like, just being with them for the rest of their lives, taking care of them, whether it's a friend, family, or girlfriend. Doesn't fucking matter,
Perhaps people aren't able to handle your whole heart.
I know I'm a big package, Andrew. I know I'm a fucking big package, bro. I know. I understand that. I know it's fucking hard being friends and loving a kid like me, bro. I know that. I'm a tough fucking cookie. I know that. It's fucking hard. I get that. And if you can't handle it, fuck off. I don't fucking care. But like, listen,
Is that
I
what your girlfriends call you? Big package?
but
They couldn't handle it, Costa.
fuck, man, fuck. Bringing up bad fucking memories. No, I'm just kidding. But it all comes down to that type of shit at the end of the day, you know? It is, but I don't go out there complaining like it's hard being like friends with you. It's hard being with friends like my people back at Regis. Like, I don't do that because I don't care. I know you for who you are.
Yeah.
I like you for your mistakes. I like you for your fucking triumphs. If I like you as a person, I will stick with you. You know? Because I see, even in the people that are bad in my life, that I know that are bad, I still treat them with respect. I still treat them with courtesy. And I still try and help them out, no matter what. I don't care. If one of my, I'm going to say old friends, texted me right now and saying, hey, I need help, I would help him. I would help him. Yeah. I don't care where we stand. I would help him because I know that I'm still should be there for them. You know? That's just the way I think about it. You know?
I think that's a beautiful thing that you have that. You have that in your heart and in your soul that you're, you know, there's never a bridge burned. You know, there could be one that's broken down a little bit, but it's really beautiful that you have like compassion in your heart like that.
But at the end of the day, I always think about this.
It's not a bad thing.
What is my benefit out of it? Tell me. What is the benefit of constantly, like, putting yourself out there only for you either to get taken advantage of or, you know, just get fucked over in the end anyway?
I think you'll find out.
Honestly,
I think that I've told you this before.
I know what you put out there, you're gonna get back at some point, but I haven't gotten that back. Is what I'm trying to say.
Like I said, you know, wait and see. Like it's difficult for me to sit here and say like, I know that there's a purpose for you doing this. I know that there's a, you know, I think a lot of it, you know, if we want to go back to the nature nurture thing, like a lot of it is the way that you were raised and the events that unfolded in your childhood, cause you to be, have a certain attachment style with friends, with lovers, with, you know, this, that, and the other. But as somebody who feels things deeply and, you know, somebody who wears their heart on their sleeve, like, you're liable to get burned and get that, you know, your heart broken. And it happens. But you're alive, and that's a really fucking beautiful thing that, you know, you are able to roll with the punches. And honestly, Costa, one of these days, you know, you're gonna get your answer. You just gotta be patient. Like, you're gonna get your answer. You're gonna find your reason about why. I've had these experiences. I've had, you know, a few of them. There's, you know, this kid that I met in Hawaii. This is kind of the most, like, the biggest one, the one that stands out in my mind. His name, well, I won't give away specifics, I guess. But I was working, the place I worked at, the bar I worked at, is right next to YWAM, their building, and that's just kind of like a Jesuit Christian missionary group. And so this kid came into the restaurant, and, you know, I sat him down, and you know, he had some social anxiety, and you know, might have been on the spectrum, but my God, I mean, brilliant kid, one of the smartest kids I've ever talked to. Like, he had an encyclopedia up in his brain, and just really, really smart. And there was something charming about him that I loved. And so we talked on and off for about an hour, and I was telling him about I was going to be, you know, moving off island and going on this, you know, road trip and with my friend, and he said, well, I wish I had a friend to do that with. And, you know, it hit me, and I was like, oh, wow. And I was like, well, like, I'm your friend. Like, you got a friend in me now. And he just kind of looked at me and he was like, I have a really, severe peanut allergy. And yesterday I almost died. And he's like, I actually did die for a few minutes. And I saw and heard God. And the only thing that got me through it to get to the other side was God telling me to hang on because tomorrow I'll find a friend. And I when he said that, it just kind of like, holy fucking shit. And then you get carried away with the rest of the stuff you have to do because I'm working in my job and I gotta finish up my shift. And so I was walking home later that night and I just remembered it, and that's when it kind of set in and it hit me. And oh my God, for about 45 minutes I was bawling my eyes out and just crying. And I was like, and it was this, I didn't really, I'm I'm a deep thinker. I'm always thinking, I'm always analyzing, but I didn't need to at this moment because it was like, yeah, like there's a reason why being an unrequited lover and somebody who's just willing to be so soulful and gentle and compassionate and empathic with people is a good thing. And it's because of moments like this. It's because of things like this. Because, like, whether or not you believe in, like, the God aspect and the religious aspect of that, is up to you. But to me, it kind of, like, just shattered my world. And I was like, wow. Like, that's a sign that energy that I talked about, and the first thing that we talked about in this podcast, that energy exists, and there's something there that's deeper than all of us. And yeah, it was one of those really, really stark moments, and it told me that there's your reason. Like, when I was there, you'll find your reason. Like, that was my reason. I was like, okay, like, I understand why now. It made sense to me in that moment. So yeah, be patient because your reason's coming. You're going to find it.
Oh no, but like I've told you before, I feel lost even to like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? But like, then again, a lot of people in college feel like that. But
that's okay.
Yeah,
That's perfectly okay.
I understand that, but like, there are days where I'm just like, dude, like, what am I doing with my life? Who I mean, I know who I am, like,
Sure.
I have self-respect, I love myself for who I am and everything, but I'm like, why the fuck am I here? Why the fuck am I, like, doing with my life, Why am I friends with certain people? Like, why am I friends with this friend? Why do I have the family that I have? Like, I question everything in my life daily. I'm like, because I'm trying to find, like, a deeper, like, understanding and meaning to what's going on,
Yeah.
And there are days where you just get down. I get down a lot, But I understand that, but it's okay. I don't know. I like to feel stuff too, I don't want to live my life, but then again, you can't live your life only feeling one fucking emotion. That's kind of what I'm doing right now, but like, I mean, there are days where I'm like fucking happy for the shit I did that day, but then there are like a lot of days I'm just like kind of reevaluating like ways to make me happy again,
Sure. I and credit to my Hawaii people and my one Hawaii person especially for kind of instilling this belief in me that I'm gravitating towards now. I always was on this train of thought that I was never doing enough, and whatever I did, it was not enough, and I was a failure, and I was never satisfied, and I always felt like I was wasting time, and I felt like I was just kind of like floating in this ether, and I needed to be doing something greater, and I needed to be. So I now, because of the experiences I've had and the people that have really impacted me, I kind of have taken on this belief that the purpose of life is really purposeless. Like, there isn't anything you have to do in life, right? Like, you're not obligated to do anything. You can lay in bed all day and wake up the next morning and still be breathing. You have there is nothing you have to do. And I think when you like kind of accept that and the concept of wasting time doesn't exist, because there is no time to waste, because shit's just happening and you're fucking living in it. Like that's the really that's the idea that just kind of changed my perception. And let me just kind of relax a little bit and let go. And ironically, once that happens, then you feel more free to do the really impactful stuff, because there isn't this pressure on you to get it done and to do it all at once and to just, nothing. You say Rome wasn't built in a day, whatever.
Oh, but
but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that pressure every day. That is why, like, I've told my friends about this at Regis too. Like, this is why I like to do things by myself. Like, I love to drive by myself late at night.
Sure.
I love to go fishing. I love to go hunting. I love to go hiking in nature. I love to spend time in nature, because these are the moments where I understand I have full fucking control of my life. I can do whatever I want. I am free as a fucking bird, and I love that. Like, this is why, like, I drive fast, like, because, like, I know anything could fucking happen at any moment, and that makes me feel so goddamn alive. I feel so goddamn alive knowing that I could crash at any moment
and be dead,
but I'm alive in that moment right now. I'm alive in that moment right now.
Well, if you crash, that moment's not lasting that much longer.
Yeah, I know. But, like, that's why I love to drive. That's why I like to go hunting, spend time in nature, because at those moments, I know anything could fucking happen.
Right.
That's why I love that freedom and liberty.
Charles Bukowski says that isolation is a gift. When you reach this point of comfort with, solitude, but isolation is a gift.
Like, I know I'm so isolated to the point where it's like...
Well, there you go.
I need to...
Nothing's black and white. It's the other side of the coin, right?
Yeah. Like, I obviously can't spend a lot of time to myself, because obviously I start, like, thinking of, like, bad shit, But at the same time, I do like being by myself, because I focus more, I think more deeply. And when I'm with friends or I'm out, I kind of, like, live in that moment, I guess,
Right.
So there constantly has to be a balance of your life in general, so to say, So it's tough.
It is tough.
That was pretty
How long
good.
do your podcasts usually
An
last?
hour.
An hour?
I always try and shoot for an hour, so
right on.
3 minutes to spare.
I think we covered some really important issues.
I mean, listen, we could have so much more of these. I want to get you and Amir on the same podcast.
That'd be fun.
Great minds. That would be awesome. I think that...
We might have to travel to Amir's house to do it.
Yeah, I know. Or wait a week.
Obviously, he lays in bed and watches The Office for the umpteenth time.
Oh, no, I've watched The Office way too many times, too. way too many times.
I've watched it a few times. It's very rare when I can watch a TV show in its entirety, let alone watching it at all. And I watched The Office like twice or three times, so it's good. I give it my seal of approval.
I'm watching Peaky Blinders right now on
Peaky
Netflix.
fucking Blinders.
How'd you know? How'd you know, dude? How'd you fucking know? Have you seen that show?
We would always joke about it because Will is from the UK, and so he would do his because he has the accent, so he would get it down perfectly. And
God,
that was funny.
There's no way.
Jason and Will watched that.
Dude,
I shouldn't be just like throwing people's names out there, but it was,
no, you're not saying the last name, so it's fine.
But yeah, they watched it, and because I'm a fucking weirdo, I would go out and like walk down the street at night while they were watching TV, and like, but we would always just joke about it. And
I fucking love Peaky Blinders. God damn it! I wish my life was like fucking Peaky Blinders.
I know,
sick.
That would be wonderful. You wish your life was like a lot of different movies and
because I want to live. I want to experience those things. That's another thing. I have a great fucking imagination for that shit.
Yeah, you do.
God damn it! One day I want to be a fucking pirate.
Once you find a time machine, let me know.
Oh, Andrew, you don't even know. I would be out of here in a fucking instant. I would be gone.
So, well, how would you deal with the sanitation differences? like the hygiene stuff.
Alright, just fucking...
You'd be cool with that?
Yeah, you just live. I don't know what else to say. You just live.
What about scurvy?
I heard oranges or some shit help
Yeah.
scurvy. Yeah,
Well,
so I have oranges.
when
I'm
you
fine.
travel back in time, make sure to pack a few oranges.
Oh, I will. For scurvy, just in case, yes.
Well, then
Yeah,
the other
goddamn
pirates, the other
pirate.
pirates might kill you because of your oranges. So you have to keep that in mind too.
No, I will tell them this helps scurvy, and then I'll
Exactly, and then they're
instantly
gonna take it from you.
No, they'll advance in technology. They'll be like, oh shit, we can use oranges for scurvy? Damn, now we could rob more ships.
I think the problem wasn't that they didn't know about the oranges, or it was because they were at sea and had no
Had no orange.
oranges.
God damn it. I imagine being at sea and then only having like a certain amount of water because like obviously
Terrifies me.
you know because like you had
The
to
ocean
make a pit
scares
stop.
the shit
No, I
out of
fucking
me.
love the ocean. God damn it, I would love the ocean so much.
The deep ocean does.
Oh, the deep ocean is even more fun. Do you know what I do in the summertime, Andrew? Sometimes I literally just, me and my dad would go like deep as fuck where there's like hundreds of feet and we just
You
swim
jump?
there. Yeah, we just jump. I'm like, God damn it, this feels so good. This feels so fucking good not knowing what could happen.
Oh yeah, I love it. I could drift out to sea and drown right now. Oh, I'm so alive.
Yeah, you feel alive. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, any final thoughts, Andrew?
Final thoughts. Well, thank you for bringing me on. I feel very honored that I'm your guest, and I hope
Any goddamn time.
that-
Any goddamn time.
if anybody
Makes it this far.
makes it this far.
Andrew, I mean, fucking, literally, Amir says this the same time.
Oh,
Always.
okay.
Whenever we ending, he always says, if anyone's made it this far, guarantee only one person makes it this far.
What should I say? Should I say some ridiculous thing to like?
If you want. It honestly doesn't matter. Amir said, if you made it this far, hit the like button. I only get 2 likes.
Hey, that's 2 people.
Yeah, what about me?
Maybe the other one's Amir.
That's so fucking... It's funny because, like, sometimes me and Amir go, like, talk about the deepest shit, like, right at the end. And, like, we always say, like, if anyone makes it this
fuck.
far, leave a comment or some shit, you know? But think of anything. I don't give a fuck. But, like,
Okay.
for all I care, you can say the nastiest or, like, name drop anyone and no one will actually fucking, literally, people not even guess this far.
Wow. Well, yes, I would love to name drop many people on the internet, so everybody has this.
Has this on us.
I'm not gonna name drop anybody, except Amir.
Except Amir.
Amir, happy Ramadan. I sent Amir a little voice memo of me playing a song that he likes as a Ramadan gift, and he loved it. And so I'm hoping that maybe we can perform like a live rendition on a podcast maybe one time. It's gonna Mir sing along and we'll get a little kumbaya going. And, yeah. Well, all right. I'll wrap it up by just saying that thank you for listening, my beloved, or Costa's beloved audience. And
If you make it this far once again.
right. Well, if you made it this far, then obviously you're listening to us, and you don't need to
You
hear
know,
us.
I'm gonna throw a huge curveball,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say,
All right.
if you made it this far, I know exactly who you are, because
Okay.
I know who the people actually like who listen to this.
Do you want to name drop them?
No,
Okay.
no.
Well,
I don't,
there you go.
Because I have some respect.
There's your
but-
fucking suspense. Tune into the next episode to find out who Costa's talking about. We're out.
Love you guys. Thanks.